Memo from the Benefits Department by Rachel Loden. Rachel Loden, born 1948, Washington, D.C., USA. Her parents were divorced. Her mother frequently went to hospital for mental disorders. Rachel was in a lot of foster homes. Richard Nixon, U.S. President 1969-74, and his corruption inspired many of her poems about life in the US at that time. Reflection. Do you think governments really care about their citizens? Memo from the Benefits Department. What is a memo? What is the Benefits Department? A memo, memorandum, from Latin it must be remembered, is a written message that is used in a business office to send a brief, important message to staff. The Benefits Department is the American Social Welfare Department, which helps people with housing, food stamps, health care, child care, and education costs. This poem is a satire. It shows us the stupidity or corruption of a political system. Sarcastic, to criticize, to say what is wrong with something in a humorous, funny way. In this poem, the poet imagines a cynical, negative, pessimistic memo written by a heartless, uncaring government office worker working in the Benefits Department. For an eye, not an eye. In the Bible, it says an eye for an eye, meaning if someone takes out your eye, the punishment should be equal, so his eye should be taken out also. The punishment should be equal to the crime. However, the memo does the opposite of this. The government memo gives no equal financial help to a person who has suffered because he lost his eye. The government office worker doesn't think that it is important to give money for a lost eye. For a tooth, forget it. In the Bible, it says a tooth for a tooth, meaning if someone knocks out your tooth, the punishment should be equal, so his tooth should be knocked out too. The punishment should be equal to the crime. However, the memo does the opposite of this. The government memo gives no equal financial help to a person who has lost a tooth. The government worker doesn't think that it is important to give money for a lost tooth. No benefit if you cut off your own hand or foot. The government will give you no payment if you harm yourself on purpose. Self-harm. Ditto for war. Ditto comes from Latin and means the same as I said before, and is used in memos so that the writer doesn't have to write what is already written in the memo. Here the poet means the government will not pay any benefit for people injured in war. Suicide or riot. Ditto, as said already, the government will give no benefit for someone who commits suicide or gets injured in a riot. The poet is telling us that the government do not care. Stanza 2. In stanza 2, the poet uses wordplay, puns, to make her point. The government memo defines loss in typical government document formal language. For extremities, here is an example of wordplay or pun. This formal word in the memo describes the part of the body far away from the centre, for example, hands at the end of arms and feet at the ends of legs. However, the word also means the worst possible situation, something extreme. Loss means severance at the wrist or ankle joint. The government memo will only pay benefit if there is a loss where the ankle or wrist had to be cut off. Severance, to separate by cutting. Wordplay on the word severance. Severance pay is redundancy pay. Money an employer gives to an employee when he has no more work for him. For eyes, the slow or sudden disappearance of the light. There is no benefit given to people who go blind. The language of the government memo is formal and uncaring. The slow or sudden disappearance of the light. There is no light, no hope for blind people, as they will not get any benefits. So here we have the wordplay on the light. Stanza 3. For life, loss means black limousines. In the memo, the loss of life is just formally described as a funeral by the government. They don't care that the person has actually died. A brief obit. Obit, short for obituary, is a news article that reports the recent death of a person with an account of the person's life and information about the upcoming funeral. The poet is angry that the word obit is disrespectfully shortened in the memo, showing us that the government don't care. If you suffer, see the schedule of sorrows. The people who are suffering, who are sick, need to look up if they can get any benefit in the official list of sicknesses that will be given benefits. The poet calls this list the schedule of sorrows, the list of sicknesses that make people suffer. Here she is being sarcastic or making fun of the government who don't care. Stanza 4. Benefits may be paid out. The word may means it is not guaranteed that the government will pay benefits. Benefits may be paid out as a lump sum. A lump sum, a large one-off payment. The memo says that the government may give a lump sum to some people who are sick. Small heap of coal. Here we have the word play on the word lump. Lump has other meanings too. A large piece of something, a lump of coal. The government will not give them a lump sum of money, but will only give them a lump of coal. This will not keep anyone warm for long. Grey dimpled gruel. More wordplay with lump. Dimpled, small holes. Gruel, watery porridge. The government will not give a lump sum. They will only give people gruel, which will not take away their hunger for very long. Charred box of soot. More wordplay with lump. The government will not pay a lump sum. It will just give a lump of soot, which will not keep them warm. Charred, blackened by fire. Soot, a deep black powder made of carbon, produced by the incomplete burning of organic matter. Wordplay of soot. Soot is a useless and insulting benefit to give to a suffering person. Death and our cremated body in a charred coffin is waiting for us all. We should not put our trust in the government.